What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 11. Hot start here. How's the week been?
Welcome back.
Great.
Solid week, honestly.
That was good. I didn't watch the midweek City game, which turned out to be a blessing.
Yeah, you got a red card pretty early, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I watched the first half, and then I had work calls in the second half of the game, which was I was grateful for because I tuned out of that game after Gomez got sent off.
Yeah, it's tough. Was that your first game this season without Holland up top?
Yeah, it was the first game we didn't start. I mean, we win that game if we have 10 men, and I don't know. We'll talk about it when we get to the review, but.
True. Well, we got to start it off with Pat this week. You left us off on a cliffhanger last week with a hot take that you didn't finish.
Oh yeah, I did. So my hot take that I'll just put out into the ether. We can talk about it a little bit to start the episode, and then we can dive into the rest of everything. I did not watch Zidane play, or like any of those like early or like late '90s midfielders play, but I have seen Kevin De Bruyne play, and I've seen a lot of Iniesta, and I've seen a lot of Xavi. I got a good chunk of Gerrard, and I got a good chunk of Lampard. Who fucking cares about Paul Scholes? I think Kevin De Bruyne is comfortably in the Iniesta and Xavi conversation now, and I think it should be like common knowledge. It shouldn't be a hot take. I think when he retires, regardless of whether or not City win a Champions League, he is going to be like that guy from our generation.
I would agree with you. I think a Champions League could help his like overall legacy, though. But I do agree with you. Talent-wise, he's in that conversation 100%.
Yeah, I think he's got everything. He passes the eye test. He's got the stats. He's got the individual accolades. He's got plenty of Premier League trophies. He just needs that one elusive Champions League, and then I think it's not even a debate anymore.
You just need a little ye old big ears in your life, KDB.
It's a bit like Gerrard in the Prem, I think. You know, how can you be the Prem's best player ever without winning the Prem?
That's exactly where my mind went, is like trying to stick up for Gerrard all these years in that argument. It's like you hear it on the other side. It's like he hasn't won the Prem, so how can he be the best? So I that's exactly where my mind went, Josh.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense too. It's fair arguments. Just my 2 cents on the greatest of all time debate.
We'll throw it out to the Instagram world, see what the cretins of the internet have to say about it.
Oh, I'm excited. I'll be right there in the comments arguing with you if you disagree with me.
A little bit of housekeeping. We have a new logo, new threads for the boys. We don't have the tech to just put this in the episode, so you have to look at it on my phone. Shout out to new tings.
Yeah, shout out my coworker Andrew for hooking it up and doing that for us. Really, really solid dude, real talented graphic designer. He hooked it up.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yes, thank you, Andrew. I had a comment in the group chat. We have like Tottenham away kit vibes from this season.
A little bit. Yeah, the colors kind of reminiscent.
A little bit. The cream overload helps it though. Like the cream background, It does help mute it out. I don't see it as much, but as soon as somebody said it, I was like, yeah, okay.
Farwell's sitting somewhere in a corner just being happy that we're using, the Tottenham vibes. This past weekend, we'll get into like some Prem stuff after. First thing I have, the boys qualified for the playoffs.
Go Loons!
Yeah, nice win for the Loons. 4 years in a row we've made the playoffs, which is actually quite impressive for how like mediocre we are.
We'll take those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a team to root for in the MLS playoffs now.
I think we play Dallas too. I think we're gonna fucking wax them, but who knows? You guys want to talk about the Prem? What happened this week? I mean,
let's talk about the Prem.
Happily, I will happily talk about the Prem.
We'll go to the big one. Liverpool Arsenal. I watched this one at the zoo. Shout out to everyone who went to the zoo. It was great turnout for that. Probably like 40 people, I would say.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, a lot of like mixed fans, a lot of Arsenal fans, a lot of Liverpool fans, but damn, I hate losing in front of people. I hate it.
I don't know. It was kind of what I expected. I've been giving Arsenal the credit this year, and obviously we'll talk how other people feel about how Arteta is doing a little bit later. But I don't know. I just kind of felt like Arsenal don't have anything to lose. They're coming into this Liverpool game with a win on the bounce, and Liverpool are at the time a very kind of confused side. So it's just we had our shining moments for sure throughout the match, but Arsenal got the better of Liverpool at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's a tough one for me to swallow, honestly, because I know I come across as salty when I say it. First of all, even if the first goal was onside or offside, it was shit defending. Second goal was even worse defending. So that's on us totally. Don't get me wrong when I'm saying if I blame anything not on us, we didn't play good enough. But there was probably an offsides error because the bird eye technology they used basically couldn't pick up where Bukayo Saka actually was. They've kind of already said that through the league offices, and then I just thought the penalty Arsenal got was so dodgy, and I thought we should have got a pen. I thought that was a clear handball. We've been through this so many times in the past year of what's a handball, what's not a handball. We see it called in other games, and then it doesn't. There's no consistency.
No, there isn't. But I think looking at the kind of mishaps on the officiating end of the ball, at the end of the day, I've had some time to kind of digest it now after the immediate frustration. They kind of cancel each other out at the end of the day. Yeah, there's one call kind of leaning Arsenal's way. If you're trying to kind of factor everything into it and cancel out the penalty given on one end and not given on the other. But at the end of the day, I just think Liverpool weren't good enough to go out and win this game. It just felt like there was no intensity throughout the match. Shout out Pep and his book. There was no intensity with the side throughout the full 90 minutes. And it's frustrating to see week in and week out in the Premier League, this Liverpool side still trying to figure itself out, not to mention more injuries plague the side throughout the game. We lose Trent, who goes down for a couple of weeks at least. We lose Matip. We lose, and most probably notably, Luis Diaz, who's going to be out until after the World Cup now, it's looking like. So frustrating game, but it doesn't sting as much as it did afterward and in our midweek game, obviously seeing the side, but it was a frustrating game to lose, but I can't say that Arsenal didn't earn it.
Patrick, any thoughts?
I think Arsenal were better, and it's rich to hear Liverpool fans complain about refereeing decisions.
I don't think that's fair. We haven't got awarded that many penalties, I don't think, last year.
It's not nothing to do with you awarded penalties. It's just rich to hear Liverpool fans complain about refereeing decisions given some past results when they played City.
Oh, fuck off, Pat. Fuck off.
Unfortunate things that, maybe shouldn't have gone your way.
Different competition. We're not even talking about the same.
No, I'm talking about the Prem. I'm talking about Milner not getting sent off last year. I'm talking about Trent's handball. That was the same shit you're complaining about this year. It's just rich to hear you guys complain about it now.
I thought you were going on about that offsides goal in the Champions League 6 years ago.
Well, we can go there. That should have stood.
We went there last year, I think. I forget what episode.
Yeah, we did.
We definitely took a dive.
Yeah, but it sucked to lose. The Emirates is really starting to get kind of an atmosphere, which is something Arsenal fans haven't experienced since 2005. Not a dig.
And Liverpool don't experience it outside of the first 2 minutes of a game.
That's just blatantly not true. Blatantly not true.
So I feel like Pat is in full blue mode ahead of this weekend's fixture, and we're going to be strapping in for a long episode. He has some things to say.
Yeah, I'm playing to Pat's game right now. I can't do that. The Anfield comments make my blood boil. Anyway, let's talk about you in Southampton, South Coast, 4-0, blah, blah, blah.
We beat the fuck out of them. Haaland scores another goal. Foden looks like, he took those Bukayo Saka comparisons to heart. He's been on his burner, seeing people calling him not the best English youngster in the league. It's about it. Pretty standard 4-0.
Standard 4-0 performance from Manchester City, I guess.
We're rolling. We're a goddamn machine. That's really all there is to it right now. There's not much to say.
Everything else this weekend.
Play right back too, apparently.
What was that?
That Akanji can play right back.
Oh, is that where you slotted him in at, or did he cover?
No, he played right back.
Oh wow.
No shit.
I like his hair.
He's got the no more braids anymore. He's got he let them all out. He's got like a little fro now. He looks great.
Nice. I just remember when he was always bald. I feel like he was bald at Dortmund, correct?
Yeah, I love the braids. The braids are like one of the best City hairstyles we've ever had.
Yeah, it was nice. Everything else kind of went pretty much how we thought. Spurs and Brighton played it close. Spurs won. Villa Forest tied. All the big teams pretty much won.
Pretty standard weekend of Premier League action if you look at it that way. Yeah.
Only other thing I had like retroactively, the U.S. women have lost 2 games in a row to England and Spain. This is kind of a fun way. We just don't ever talk about the U.S. women, but do we suck now?
I don't think so.
I don't watch them enough to really know, to be educated on, so maybe...
Yeah, to be fair, that's very true. I watch them during the World Cup and then like the occasional friendly and stuff like that. I don't think we're bad by any stretch of the imagination. I think we had a goal that absolutely should have, if I'm not mistaken, there was like an offsides controversy where like we should have just been on sides for a goal.
Not sure. I'd have to go back and look at
know.
it. England women are pretty good. England women could win the World Cup, I think. They're pretty nasty. But anyway, well, it's something to keep our eye on a little bit. Maybe we'll start having some women's soccer segments here. Cover the game. Anyway, let's talk about something new.
International, yeah. Speaking international, so for all of you in Maine, you know, our Maine folks are you know, members of the Maine stand. We have been kind of graciously given the opportunity to let you guys know about something that the Maine Mariners and downtown Portland are doing. So there's going to be a watch party for the U.S.-England game on Black Friday. And the Maine Mariners are kind of doing something, releasing these ticket packages where you can go to a hockey game and you can go to the soccer game here. And they have these, you know, 3 different tiers of packages. They've got Academy, Premier, Championship. You know, you can buy any of these packages and go to either just the Mariners game. You can go to both games. It'll have like a limited edition scarf kind of tucked in. There's going to be a 4-pack of the new Lone Pine Slapshot Session Ale that they're doing in collaboration with the Maine Mariners. So, you know, go check out the Maine Mariners social, go to the Maine Mariners website, learn a little bit more about these package deals, and we'll see you both at the watch party for, you know, the U.S.A. England game and also at the Maine Mariners games.
Yeah, and we'll get some more information on the ticket packages on our social, I'm sure, and have some more information leading up to the event.
Yeah, and shout out to USL to Portland and Gabe too, because I think it's their event with downtown Portland. You know, the Mariners are getting space at that, and you know, I think we're trying to exclaim really, the championship package is where you guys need to be at. I mean, if we're interested in this event, this is what you guys got to be doing. You got to be going and getting the VIP viewing area. USA, you got to be in the front row, okay? And then I think the thing that really stands out about this, you know, you get a limo ride to RiRa, you get some food, get some drinks at RiRa, get a limo ride to the stadium and enjoy some Mariners. I mean, what's not good about that? It's soccer on ice, if you will.
Yeah, it's 10 out of 10. You go to the watch party at 1:30, you hop in the limo, you go to RiRa, you get a couple of drinks, you celebrate the USA beating England in the 1776 derby by going to a Mariners game at 7:15.
And I believe they're playing the Royals.
Black Friday. Yeah, the Reading Royals.
So it's even more fitting. We're gonna beat the Royals, then we're gonna beat the Royals.
Exactly. And you leave with a scarf and some beer. I mean,
what more could you ask for as a fan of sport?
Yeah, so look forward to, like what Mitch said, look to our social, because we're going to be promoing this like crazy. We want this place packed. We want Portland, Maine to make some headlines with the soccer crowds they pull in for USA England. We're going to make it happen. Anyway, let's move it on to Europe, boys. We are going to do our 4th Champions League rundown. And it's...
We only got 2 left after this.
I know. It's kind of be reverse. Because I'm lazy and I copy the notes, what you guys are actually looking at, home and away should be reversed. So it was basically what it was last week, just with updated scores.
So Victoria Pilsen hosted Bayern. Bayern won 4-2, clinched top of their group, and Victoria Pilsen scored 2 of the 3 total UCL goals that they've scored this year in this game.
Good for them.
Sorry, Pilsen, you tried your hardest. You scored 2 goals against probably one of the best teams in Europe. That's something to write home about. Outside of that, nothing spectacular. Moving on, Sporting, the team that was, we were like, oh, they're definitely going to win their group. Oh, they're doing so good. They go down to 9 men. They lose 2-0 to Marseille. And Alexis Sanchez plays there.
I thought that was funny. The other day I saw that and I was like, I did not know he played there.
And I said that because I forgot too. And then I have updates for Marseille through FOTMob for some reason. Don't know why. I just do. And I saw they subbed on Alexis Sanchez one day, and I was like, no shit, that's where he plays now. Okay.
When I first saw it, I was like, there's definitely like another Alexis Sanchez, like
has to be
an Argentinian version or something.
And you looked and you're like, nope, it's the Chilean guy.
Yeah, the Chilean one. We had Porto, Leverkusen next. This is kind of the weird group. Porto smacked them 3-0. Not the best start to the reign of Xabi Alonso. Leverkusen outshot Porto 17-5. Were expected to score 2.2 goals. Could not get one behind the net. So tough start to Xabi, but they played good football. So.
Bruges, Atletico Madrid, 0-0 draw. Bruges playing out of their minds the group stage, not allowing a goal, and officially clinching their first knockout in club history. Huge for Bruges. Former Revs.
Apologies for disrespecting you on the preview we did for the Champions League.
Yeah, do we all have them in 4th?
We all said they were not getting out of the group, and then we made a call back to Brugge. We said, sorry, Brugge, had him in 4th. So
yeah, that's a tough one.
Sorry for disrespect.
But awesome showing from them in the group stage. Probably my my dark horse, like team of the group so far.
My dark horse, I don't even know if you can call them a dark horse now. Napoli.
No, they're not.
Napoli beat Ajax 4-2. They are unbeaten on the season in all competitions. They are smacking ass in Italy and Europe. Their offense is flying. Victor Osimhen, they don't even need him to start anymore. Raspadori, I think he has like 7 goals in his past 6 games for club and country. And you have that guy Kvaradona on the wing. What a fucking player he is.
Yeah, he's going to go somewhere this summer. I mean, it'd be really cool to see Napoli keep hold of him, though.
I hope we get him.
They're building something cool over there, and it's sad that they're probably going to get run through this off season. But I mean, even Anguissa locking it down in the midfield too. Like they're looking really, really strong.
Very, very reminiscent of like Ten Hag's Ajax when they made that run, or the Monaco team. It's nobody saw them coming, and nobody wants to play them in the next round. I'm looking forward to City drawing them in the quarterfinals and losing 8-6 on aggregate.
Irving Lozano still got it too.
Yeah, he's a very good player.
Yes, he does.
Tottenham beat Frankfurt 3-2. There was a lot of red cards this week, and Frankfurt got a red card.
Son's second goal though.
Weak foot, right? Yeah.
The volley, yeah.
Inter 3-3 with Barcelona. You watched this one, Pat, so I'll let you.
That game was fucking crazy. So Barcelona needed to win to like guarantee their spot in the next round. Now they need Inter to lose in the last day because they drew. But Barca go up 1-0 through Ousmane Dembele. You're like, all right, they're cruising. They're doing good. They're possessing the ball. They're playing really well. Inter score 2 just like quick fire kind of goals, go up 2-1. Barca equalize 2-2. Inter immediately fire back and score, make it 3-2, and then Lewandowski equalizes again for Barca in the 93rd minute to make it 3-3. The game was so back and forth, so end-to-end. Inter should have actually won the game. There was a moment where one of their midfielders, forget his name, was through on goal, and it was either Dzeko or Lautaro Martinez at the far post, and he opted to go at it alone when the play was just square it. So Inter should have won that game 4-3, but unbelievably end to end. It was all out attack from Barcelona and then a counter-attacking, clinic from Inter. Unbelievable game. It was so much fun to watch. And then Izanagi, the Inter manager, got sent off in the 92nd minute.
Let's go.
I saw that. I think that's the game they flicked to after Liverpool Rangers, which is our next match anyway. Liverpool romped Rangers at the Ibrox 7-1. Rangers had been on the end of some pretty bad score lines in this group.
This one, their worst of all time, though. 7-1 at home, and it was enough to kick them out of the group permanently. Tale of two halves. Fun second half from Liverpool.
Yeah, Bobby Firmino.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that game, and Firmino had made it
1-1.
1-1. And then I was like, I'm bored. So I went and finished watching Inter Barca. And then I knew he made it 2-1, and I was like, okay, cool. They're going to win this game. I kind of expected that. And then you guys were texting about it in the group, and one of you said hat trick. And I was like, oh, Firmino scored, made it 3-1. Great. Good for him. And then I looked at the score after the game, and I was like, what the fuck?
Mo Salah had his 5 minutes of Mo of old. The fastest Champions League hat trick of all time, just breaking records.
I believe it was 6 seconds shorter than Tiny Dancer by Elton John. I saw that stat on Twitter.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Diego Jota also came on and got a hat trick of assists, and I believe that's the quickest hat trick of assists in Champions League history. And Harvey Elliott, too, man of the match for me. He played superb.
He had a great game, and then just seeing the support from his teammates after the goal was allowed for him for the 7th. And then Fabio, too. I think that was huge for his confidence, being able to play in that side and get a full game, really just run out and play.
Yep. Next one, Salzburg 1-1 with Dynamo Zagreb, who we all unequivocally hate. Salzburg, this is kind of drop points for them. They had it a little bit tough because they did have a weekend game. Zagreb didn't, so Zagreb obviously had fresher legs. Salzburg could now get jumped by Milan. They have to play Milan and Chelsea the last 2 days, so not looking great for Salzburg.
Mm-hmm. And then other game in that group, we've got Chelsea AC Milan. Pretty soft red on Tomori, have to say. I don't like it, but it is what it is. And then goals from Jorginho and Aubameyang, and Chelsea win 2-0. Looks like they're going to get through pretty comfortably. Playing well under Potter now. Potter's kind of got them doing well. I miss Tuchel when I can make fun of the club. They actually play good ball now. Aubameyang doing front flips at his age still does scare me just a little bit.
Graham Potter's drip. He had a glow up, man.
The turtleneck's scary.
He's a handsome fellow when he's done up.
It's crazy what a well-trimmed beard and a good turtleneck can do for a coach.
Looking like a James Bond supervillain.
Is that a dig at Klopp?
Huh?
No, it wasn't.
I thought you were making fun of Klopp's beard.
Pat, you are living rent-free in Josh's head right now.
No, Pat looks for those comments. I thought,
Josh, that'll be $100. Dude, you need me to pay rent and give you like $100 if I'm gonna be staying there all day.
Leipzig beat Celtic 2-0.
Yes, they did. Werner and Forsberg in on the scoring.
Juventus losing again. They suck.
They're not good. They're like bad.
2-0 to Maccabi Haifa, the American goalkeeper.
And that honestly looks like it could be the nail in Juve's Champions League coffin too, with 2 to play.
They're going to Europa, baby.
Them losing to Maccabi, who is sitting directly below them with one less point, could be the nail in the coffin.
Dude, Europa League is like gonna be stacked, honestly.
It's like
Arsenal, Man United, Juve, Ajax.
Could be Barca.
Roma.
Barca. Yeah, dude, it's gonna be loaded.
Rome.
Yeah, it's gonna be loaded. It's so funny.
Real Madrid we'll keep it moving here. We have 4
Yeah.
left. Real Madrid 1-1 with Shakhtar. The Shakhtar looked like they were going to win this game. They scored a goal in, I think, the 46th minute, and then it was stolen by Rudiger at the end. A header in the 94th, I think.
Busted his
At the
face
death.
to get on the end of that.
Yeah. Another 1-1 draw, Sevilla Dortmund. Another Bellingham goal, man of the match performance with all the eyes on him. Dortmund are comfortably in second place. Not much of a group there.
Yeah, they're going to be definitely going to be the other team to get out. And on the other end of that, was the City 0-0 draw with Copenhagen. No Holland, so we got a hat trick of VAR in the first half instead. I still think we should have won that game. I think it was funny that the only call VAR got right was the Gomez red card. I think Rodri's goal should have stood, and I don't think City should have had a penalty. I mean, outside of that, I think if we have 10 men, we win that game. It's just a little unfortunate. Gomez is young. He was brought in, meant to be loaned out. Pep decided to keep him. Stuff like that's going to happen. I'm not super worried about it. We're still going to win the group comfortably.
And then the last game, Benfica PSG. Benfica do the double of draws, 2 points in 2 games against PSG. Not much else here, but interesting, I guess.
Benfica, 2 really good games against PSG, honestly.
Mbappe played.
Yeah, he played. And let's seamless transition, Mitch.
Yes.
Mbappe, we're talking out of bounds now. And the first story of the week, the rumors that Mbappe wants out of PSG. He is done with Paris. Supposedly handed in a formal request. And there's talks going on that, PSG only want to sell him to Liverpool. What?
Could you guys afford him?
Oh, no. Definitely.
It depends on the valuation.
Nike pays it.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, he's going to be making money no matter where he goes from outsourcing himself and his athletic abilities to brands such as Jordan and other partnerships that he's established along the way. But I really do think that if this is the case, if Liverpool is the only destination he's heading, it's something that a club would have to do whatever is necessary to bring in a player like that. I don't know how much of it is true, how much of it is false, because Fabrizio Romano is saying that is not the case from what I've heard. And then also you go into the story with all the bots that have been hired to tarnish both players and clubs. So I don't know. It's a really sticky situation.
It's a tough one, and I don't even know if it's so much I think Liverpool are interested, and there's not as many suitable clubs for him. Supposedly Liverpool asked about him in the summer, and were quoted an outrageous price. Real Madrid don't want anything to do with Mbappe right now. They don't want him at all. I think he rubbed them the wrong way the past year, and the window's kind of closed on him. So there's only a few clubs that could afford him. In the Premier League, no offense, but Mbappe is not going to Chelsea. He's not going to Man City now that Haaland's there. It's either he's staying at PSG. I mean, I don't see how Liverpool could make it work with wages, but hell, if we could figure out something and take him on, I'd love to do it.
I think crossing Chelsea out is a little brash. It's a little. I mean, I think if there's a club that can afford him, and a club especially with Bowley's whole thing about wanting a superstar, I could see him at Chelsea if you guys don't get him and he really wants out and PSG are willing to sell. Bowley tried to bring in Ronaldo because he wants that superstar level of player. I could see Mbappe playing for Chelsea by, if not this winter, then next summer.
Oh, it's a tough one for me. I don't know if Chelsea are as big. I feel like Liverpool has a little bit more of an aura than Chelsea. I don't know if it's big enough for Mbappe.
I think they do too, but I don't think Mbappe cares about that. I think Mbappe cares about his wages, and I think PSG cares about getting the most money for him. And I think if there's a club that a player with an ego like Mbappe can go to right now, it's going to be a club like Chelsea, who are just mishmashing superstars to fit this new agenda for their owner. He fits more in Chelsea, in my opinion, right now. I think Liverpool would be the better place for him to go footballing wise and project wise and career wise, but I don't see him there currently with the way Liverpool are.
I think it's probably just to end. It's a game of poker between him and PSG, and I think this is just kind of posturing between the two. Like Mitch said, we have the part 2 about PSG supposedly hiring bots to kind of slander Mbappe. He did have a bot clause in his contract, so if he could prove it legally that PSG did it, he could get his contract voided, declaring him a free agent, which would be pretty crazy.
Also insane. Yeah.
Real Madrid, he would 100% go to Real Madrid, even if they're not interested. If he's an actual free agent and willing to go, Real Madrid take him in seconds.
Yeah.
Speaking of Chelsea and strikers, next story is about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. A leaked video of him shortly after arriving in Barcelona, talking to someone, I'm assuming friends or whatever, and this is his quote-unquote remark. He doesn't know how to manage great players and great characters. He needs young players around him who don't say a word. Referring to Mikel Arteta, and he goes on kind of ranting about it. Did issue an apology, but it's a very Aubameyang thing to be caught doing. Just kind of want your guys' thoughts on it.
Yeah, I saw the video. I honestly thought it was funnier to hear the comment afterward by, I don't know if it's like a friend or an agent. He's like, he's the same guy that benched Ozil, right? Yeah. Like, it's just one of those, it's like the Ivan Toney video from a little bit earlier where it's like somebody just getting shit off their chest in a situation where they're clearly unhappy, and taken out of context at the right time, it's going to show something. But I mean, I can't say that at the time he was wrong. Like, if you look at the situation at the club, the players that were getting mixed in, who was getting benched, who was getting kind of brought up, you know, and then he's his own character. I thought it was interesting that it's come out now, though, and we're hearing about it now that he's kind of starting to play well at Chelsea and kind of finding a form.
He's kind of given himself a big compliment by calling himself a great character, because I think he's a little bit of a dickhead at the end of the day.
Oh,
yeah.
He's a character, but not in the way that he thinks.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the whole thing, Josh, just to throw my 2 cents into the mix. I don't know. Aubameyang couldn't be bothered to show up to training on time and have all these other locker room issues. I think it's less about the personality and more about the fact of, like, Arteta was trying to build something and Aubameyang was being kind of a dick.
He didn't buy in. Yeah.
And then the last one, this one's kind of I guess you could call it a more serious one. Gianni Infantino. He's garnering support around the world already from Africa and Asia, and now from CONMEBOL for a third term as FIFA president. Not many people have served as long as he has, and he's getting a lot of stick for the World Cup, rightfully so. Again, kind of just want your guys' thoughts on this. If he seems like one of those guys in 10 years could go to jail for something.
Oh yeah, I can see him getting arrested for this Qatar thing.
I was just gonna say that I'm like interested to see how this World Cup plays out and see what happens afterward. See how much worldly support he's garnered after an event, because the what happens at the facilities matters. What happens on the grounds matters. Where you're taking your money matters, and I don't know.
We should elect Eric Cantona as FIFA president. I think he'd be a good
honestly
one. Just giving speeches about random shit.
I could get behind that. He's a United legend, but I could get behind that.
That's all I had for Out of Bounds. Pat, do you have an update about Monchengladbach at the minute? Are they still shit?
Yeah, in our last 2 games, we have scored 6, conceded 7. We've been on the end of a 5-1 loss to Bremen and a 5-2 win against Köln. We are definitely not winning the Bundesliga, but we're back in European competition with we're in 6th place now, level on points with Bremen, only down 2 goals on goal difference. Yeah, we're not going to win the league, Mitch. I think your wallet is safe, but I'd like to see the fellas finish top 4.
Love that. And we only have one more thing to talk about this week. It's the Prem. We saved enough time for it here. everyone's eyes are on Liverpool, Man City. There's other games going on, but it's still the game of the Premier League, if we're being honest. No matter if Liverpool's going to get pumped or not, still the one everyone's looking for. And I'll let Pat speak first.
I think you're getting pumped.
How bad?
I think it's like a 3-0.
3-0?
4-1. I think
at Anfield?
Holland. Yeah, I think Holland starting with all. You shipped 3 to Brighton at home, and our defense is way better than theirs. You're going to concede. I think Holland is just like inevitable at this point. I think a full strength City 11 playing the way we're currently playing. Klopp said it today. I think we're the best team in Europe right now, and I think tomorrow, Sunday's just going to prove it. This is the most confident I've ever been going into Anfield, ever, literally ever. I dread this game every year. I have dreaded this game since like 2011 when I first real big season following City.
And confirm.
Wanted nothing to do with going to Anfield. This year I feel good about it. I think this is the year. Not the year because we broke the Anfield curse during the empty stadium COVID year. Yeah. But I think we do it with fans in the stadium this year. I feel pretty good. I don't think there's a team in the world that can stop us right now at full strength.
I totally agree with that, Pat. And I want to give you credit, and I want to give Holland credit because I do agree with the inevitable comment. I do think he'll score at the weekend. I'd be lying if I didn't think Liverpool couldn't get something out of this game. And by something, I mean a point. I'm not going in expecting a win. But this is a game, even no matter what Liverpool's form looks like, it's a game that I hope our players would turn up for. And it's one that even though we've been in shitty form, that it's you just think Liverpool can pull something out of their hat here and put in a shift and at least get a point out of it. And if they can get a point, I think fans will be happy, especially at home.
I couldn't agree more. I just think after everything that's happened leading into this match, all the injuries we're faced with right now, the kind of scatterbrain, if you will, of our team and our ups and downs so far, I would love to walk out with a point. But I would hope that these guys are just using a huge European night as a stepping stone of confidence moving forward and can get some momentum out of this game. Typically, these games are very neck and neck, back and forth for 90 minutes. It's a great game of football. You have two tactical giants matching up. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a loose game than we've seen in the past few years. So I'm going to expect more goals out of this. But I would be happy with a draw.
Yeah, I think this game more than any other, it feels like there's true ebbs and flows to it. I think Man City will get theirs. It's about, can we get ours when the chances are given?
Yeah.
I think we can. If we do the 4-4-2 again, which there were some holes in it, some clear holes, and Man City will watch that Rangers game and see the holes in the defense and the way they move and the way the forwards track back. But with that being said, I like the 4-4-2 because it allows you to play Salah and Firmino up top. Salah's biggest problem this year is too far away from goal. That's why he hasn't scored the amount of goals. He usually gets a ton of chances. He just hasn't because he's been truly on the wing, chalk on his shoes. And we saw it when he comes in against Rangers. He's playing up top more in that striker position. And I think next to a really informed Bobby Firmino, Liverpool can put away a chance or two against Man City. It's just about, if they do that, because City will get theirs. It's about if we get ours.
I actually think that playing the 4-4-2 against this City side is not the right way for you guys to go about it. I think giving us midfield superiority in numbers just based on the formation you're doing is a recipe for disaster. Us always having a free man is an issue, and then you needing a player to then drop into the space in the press. I just think we tend to win our games in the midfield battle, and in the past when you matched us in the midfield in the type of 4-3-3, where you matched us in the midfield, you matched our forwards, and you pressed us with a lot of intensity, those are the games that like you really took it to us and you beat us all those times again. I think immediately causing either our defenders to no longer have to worry about two forwards or giving our midfielders a numerical superiority in the buildup. Just doesn't feel like the success point for Liverpool. I also think, just from a City standpoint, the place to really watch is going to be the wings. You have your preferred formation in the notes here, and I'm licking my lips at the thought of Phil Foden in his current form running at Joe Gomez.
Who else are we going to play there, though?
Could be James Milner.
Either Ramsey or Milner at
It
this
won't
point.
be Ramsey.
And you could flip flop it too. You could put Grealish on the left, and I'm licking my lips at the idea of Grealish in his current form running at Joe Gomez too. I just think that this City team is so good, and the mentality that they've been showing to like push on and win games if they go behind, and just like take games by the scruff of the neck and win them. Even this week in the midweek game when we were down a man, we were dominating that game for large periods of time. Yeah, the goal didn't come, but we did what we needed to do to make sure that like we didn't lose that game. A man down the entire time. So I mean, I think if Pep decides to bring on Haaland in that game, we probably win that game a man down. And I think with 11 men on the pitch, best 11 versus best 11 right now, it just doesn't feel like City should ever lose this game.
I agree with that. The thing I have about Gomez is, we talk about Trent too, like in past years of like you're licking your lips at Trent. So what's really the difference this weekend if you're licking your lips at Gomez? It's been the problem position defensively, so it's still the problem defensively, and elsewhere I think you can look at the defense and some of the other positions. We finally have some guys at full strength too, so I think Konate is actually an improvement. I mean, he started the Champions League final, played really well for us last year, played super well against Man City at Wembley. You have Robertson on the left. He played great in that cameo against Rangers, which I know it's against Rangers. And then Diogo Jota coming in, I think he could make a difference too on the left. So I think this is a little bit of a rotated Liverpool team. I get what you're saying. And again, I'm not going into this game over, optimistically. I think a point would be really, really good for us at home.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I guess just to answer the Gomez question, then we can move on. Little less seasoned on the season, doesn't have as much games at his feet. These games are usually pretty high intensity, so if he doesn't immediately come out ready to match the intensity, Phil Foden's gonna have a field day on our left or Grealish is gonna have a field day on our left until he kind of gets up to the pace. A little easier for a player who's been doing, been in the 11 the whole season. If it was Trent Alexander-Arnold, I'd still be like, I'm gonna have so much shit to talk to Josh after this game when it's all said and done. But either way, I think it's gonna be a really good game, and I wish you did have a full strength 11 and like weren't in this funny patch of form, and it could really feel like last year.
Yeah, because the build up to those ones last year were something else, and they ended up as draws, and it just doesn't have the allure going into it this week of like, because we are like a little bit down on our luck, so it feels like if you win, it's like, well, Liverpool are shit right now. Whereas last year, if you would have won, it would have been a real like peg on your back of like, oh, we beat Liverpool and they were like really on form.
Now we have to do that to Arsenal. We haven't had a chance to humble them yet because the game got rescheduled.
Arsenal fans.
Anyway,
we have just a couple games to look at. Maybe throw some predictions out. Spurs Everton. I think Spurs will win that.
Yeah, I think so.
I probably think so as well. They played pretty good.
Yeah.
Last weekend and this week, the midweek. So, Man United Newcastle is going to be a good game.
That'll be a fun one to watch, but I think United should probably best Newcastle here.
Both teams in good form though, so I wouldn't just immediately chalk it up to a Man United win. Newcastle gave us a lot of trouble and United did not. So I think writing it off as just like United should win is, I don't know. I'm taking Newcastle. I think Newcastle can get a result from this game.
I take Newcastle as well. They run a fuck ton. they're running the entire game. I don't know if United can cope with that, especially passing out of the back. And then the last one, Leeds Arsenal. This is a little bit of I feel like a trick game, because it's like Arsenal should win it, but it's like, can Leeds do something? Can they?
Right now, it feels like no.
Nah, Arsenal are on top of the world right now, and I don't see them slowing down.
However, if Leeds do decide to peg them back, I'll be pretty happy.
Yeah. I hope Arsenal get humbled soon, too. I'm in such the same boat as Pat. Like, I could care less if City's top of the league because they're going to win it anyway. I just want to see Arsenal fans pipe down for a second and act like they haven't won the league after fucking 9 games. But I digress.
He do be digressing.
He do be digressing.
That's the podcast, boys. It's a quick 45 and a full 45. We had a lot to unpack.
Quick full 45, and I'm excited for this weekend. As much as I am dreading it as a Liverpool fan, I enjoy sitting down and watching footy with the boys. It'll be nice to get out of the house after being stuck in quarantine because my family members got the vid, so it'll be nice. I'm excited. And then obviously just 5.5 weeks away from World Cup.
Yeah. And if you're going down to the zoo this weekend, drink some Kennedy Pills. It's the best beer ever.
Wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. Love me a good Kennedy Park Pilsner. The whole main stand loves Kennedy Park Pilsner. Mitchell can't even have gluten, and he loves Kennedy Park Pilsner.
Exactly. I love it so much.
And Slap
It's
Sock
hard to-
Session Ale, too.
Yeah, that too.
It's a tongue twister.
I'm excited. I actually I haven't been to a Mariners game in a while. It's going to be exciting to go back.
Yes,
Yeehaw.
All right. That was the episode. Like,
Deuces,
share,
guys.
subscribe.
Tuning in.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Deuces.